Hello, hello. All right, I had a great conversation with a coaching client yesterday, and I thought this conversation would be super helpful for you as well. So it went something like this. I have a work potluck coming up. I don't know what everyone's bringing. We're all going out to eat for lunch. I don't know, nobody has agreed to what restaurant. Oh my gosh, my mind is spinning. I can't control all the variables. And I'm kind of longing for the days where I could just mindlessly eat and not worry about all this. I feel like I have to control everything or this isn't gonna work. The need for control, that little voice in your head that's saying, but what about the calories? Well, what if we do Mexican? What if we do Chinese? What are you gonna do? All lower brain chatter, okay? The whole thinking leads to eating series, it's all coming from your lower brain. That desperate need to know all the answers, to know the future before the future happens, to know the restaurant, to know what's gonna be offered at the potluck, to have all of that figured out ahead of time is all coming from your lower brain. And when I was in my weight loss journey, I had a baby and 2 toddlers. And the biggest wake-up call that I ever had in my life was, my life is not my own. The things I could control or thought I could control before having kids, it was brutally taken away from me. Because when you have young children, and anybody out there that does or cares for young children knows that the day never goes the way you think it's gonna go. People get sick, kids act out, temper tantrums, impulsive decisions that kind of go askew. Everything goes awry. So what I had to really center on, and what I'm going to encourage you to center on, is identify that voice as your lower brain. I don't have to know everything. I don't have to have the perfect, itinerary for every single thing. But what can I control? So I went through with this client. Can you control your breakfast? Yeah, I'm going to eat before I go. Okay, great. Write that down. I can control my breakfast. Can you control what you take to the potluck? You can't guarantee what everybody else is going to bring, but can you control what you bring? Yeah, I can control that. Okay, great. Can you control putting the food on a plate and sitting down and eating it and honoring the goal of not grazing? Oh, yeah, I can do that too. Okay, great. Can you control saying, okay, we've done Mexican restaurants, Chinese restaurants, heck, mostly every restaurant has hamburgers and fries. Or you could even say restaurant with protein and vegetable. Like, you could give yourself 4 options. Can you control that? Oh yeah, I can write all that down. Okay, great, do that. Can you control your dinner when you come home for the day? Oh yeah, I can do that too. Okay, great. Can you control your evening snack and treat? Yeah, I can control that. Now I want to point something out of this entire day for this person. There was only really 2 aspects that they felt at the beginning. There's 2 things they couldn't nail down, and it was causing the unravel to happen in their head of, oh my gosh, I feel really insecure because I don't know what's going to happen for these 2 things. And now I'm feeling anxiety and stress, which you and I both know thinking leads to eating will eventually lead you to your habit, which will be eating to self-soothe the anxiety and stress created by your lower brain, because you don't know what's available at the potluck and you don't know what restaurant's being selected. You don't have to. Whenever your brain starts to rattle on about what it doesn't know and how it needs that sense of control, you say, no. In every moment, I will ask myself, what do I have control over? If your friend at the last minute pulls over at McDonald's and says, hey, let's do this for lunch. I didn't control this. I didn't know this was going to happen. Okay, deep breath. In this moment, what can I control? Okay, I could order a kid's meal and get a Diet Coke. I can make a good choice. Within the context of where I'm at right now, what is the choice that supports what I'm trying to do? That is what I'm going to do. And honestly, I would never have lost the weight, truly, if I had to have ultimate control. I had to go into every situation, every moment, calm myself down, calm down my lower brain chatter, and say, okay, Heather, in this moment, what do you have control over? What are your options? And what's going to move you closer to your goal? Not the, I feel extremely overwhelmed. I can't control every aspect. This isn't the lunch I pre-planned. So now I'm just going to order everything, including the warm apple pie, and hope for the best. It's acknowledging you don't have control. It's realizing that even though you're getting super granular on your plan, like 80% of that may not happen. It's accepting the fact that life keeps happening. You're along for the ride, okay? And what your job is to say, in this given moment, what do I have control over? I have control over my choice. What choice best supports my goal? That's the one I make. And it might just be you ordering a Diet Coke. It might be like, okay, yeah, you go ahead and eat. I'll just get a Diet Coke. You have that choice. Crazy, right? This is a huge, huge thing. I really want you to understand. If you feel this desperate need to control, first off, know that's your lower brain. It's not you. It wants to know the outcome before the outcome happens. It wants to have a predictable, controllable day. Will not occur. Your best thing is to proverbially fall back and know that that's gone. That is not going to happen. Even if you are super meticulous and you plan out everything, the planning is great, but realize plans will need to change. Your responsibility is to say, based on my day, what are the things I control? What are the things that I know I won't be able to control very well? And in those, how can I make the best choices based on my personal goals? And that's what I want you to focus on, because in there, that is where your control is. Your control might not be selecting the restaurant. Your control is knowing what your goal is and making the best selection possible. And then if you go, yeah, but I love Mexican, Heather, and if we were going to go to Mexican, I'd really want to indulge, then you know what? Go to Mexican on a Friday night when you actually plan to indulge, not a workers' meeting that gets scheduled at a Mexican restaurant, and then you're eating it when you're not really enjoying it. Like, see, and that's the difference too. That's another nuance there, which is, okay, so I ended up at my favorite restaurant. Yeah, that's fine. You can still do a meal away from home and then go to it a different day when you actually want to indulge and make that an executive decision that you're going to treat it differently, right? So anyway, I hope this message helps. We don't have control, number one. Number two, when you are focusing on your day, take a sheet of paper. When your mind is spiraling, say, okay, out of this entire day, based on my goals, what do I have control over? What can I prepare for? A lot of times for me with kids, it was taking food with me. I got really good at that, like just throwing some, like a lunch in the cooler, taking it with me. So that way, if I couldn't eat at the potluck, or kids had a meltdown, or, you know, we had to eat at a different time than I thought, I always had my food with me. I couldn't guarantee what the day was going to do, but I knew I could control taking food with me. So that was one thing I got really good at, right? So you have to say, based on my life and what's going on, what are the things I can control? I'm going to do those. And then when the others happen, I'm going to do the best I can in the moment, keeping my goal front of mind. I hope this message helps, guys. You have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon.